Welcome back, y'all, to the latest episode of How on Earth Do I Work Google Earth? So I think I found out on the videos last week some ways to add in the text if I clip it to a bunch of different videos. So I'm probably going to be trying to do that. If y'all have any suggestions on how to actually make these videos or how to include the text boxes, please go ahead and leave me a comment or something and let me know, because I'm just using Windows 10 and their video editing built-in software. Okay, so over here we have, this is our homework section 1 for the climate change. So we have the chapter 8 to do this week and climate change, and this is the first question of the climate change. So first thing we're going to do is come right over here on the left-hand side for the KMZ file, and I think I finally figured out how to do this. If we left click, or if I do whatever I just did, I obviously don't know what I'm doing, it will start downloading for me down here in Google Chrome. I'm really not sure how it works in other browsers. I've never used Edge before in my life, so I'm a little terrified of trying to start that. But after we do that, all we do is click on the file and it will automatically open up Google Earth for me. Here we are at Google Earth Pro, checking out the contemporary climate change file that we opened up from Pearson. So I'm going to let y'all read the text from the Pearson site, and I'm just going to try to see if I can pop the questions into the corner and just go over the questions and how to navigate the answers to them. So the instructions for part A are to open the projections folder right here. So hit that arrow and it opens. Then open the medium emission scenario subfolder. So that's this subfolder because it's underneath this other folder. Open the subfolder, and I need to grab this over and widen it so I can read the full text on my screen. So medium emission scenario subfolder, I'll go ahead and click it on. And we're looking for the average temperature change folder. And down here it's got different years, and for the questions we're just pretty much looking for the differences between the 2000s and 2090s, which sounds really weird to say 2090s. Let's see, so we're looking for which regions are projected to experience the greatest increase in temperature. So for this, you can double click 2090s and it will zoom out to Africa. And we're going to look around at the different areas. So we've got the Antarctic, which is down here, and that doesn't look very different. Southeast Asia. My map's got nice and crooked there. So click north right up there and it will write it upright for me. So Southeast Asia, down here in China and Indonesia. Not big of a change. South America, just go all the way across the Pacific. There's South America. Again, not much difference there. Sub-Saharan Africa. Sub-Saharan, so below the Sahara. Not much there. And finally, the last one is Arctic, which we've been seeing this red spot as I've been zooming all around the globe. And so the answer for this would be the Arctic, not Antarctic, but Arctic, because the hint is it's which region's going to have the greatest change in the albedo, and the albedo is the reflection And so there'd normally be lots of sea ice and stuff, and so they're saying with the average temperature change, with the sea ice not reflecting the sun's rays back out into the atmosphere, it'd be absorbing them because there's less of the white ice with the higher albedo. So that's why we'd see the greatest change there. Moving on to part B, we're looking for the data in the average precipitation change folder and the greatest precipitation change by the 2090s. So I'm still on the temperature change right here. So first thing, I have to unclick temperature change. So it gets rid of that filter over the globe, and I can click on precipitation change. And I actually want 2090s because I'm looking for the greatest increase. Double click on 2090s and it spins me back around and yep, back over to Africa. And if we look over here, we have the scale for the greatest change. So the darker the blue, the greater the change, and red is less change. So the first things we're looking at, we're going to look for Scandinavia. So Scandinavia coming up. I cannot really see it with this, so I'm going to unclick that. There we are. There's Scandinavia. Zoom in a little more and put the filter back on. There we go. Scandinavia is a little blue up here. It's a little bit on the higher range for the 2090s. So next on my list, and I know this is in a different order for everyone and a different order every time the quiz is taken, but next for me is showing Maritime Southeast Asia. So Maritime Southeast Asia is going to be this area over here. I think there's Indonesia. Let me unclick this and look. Yep, there we go. We've got Vietnam and Indonesia and New Guinea and all that stuff there around the equator. So we can see over here there is definitely some dark blue over here in some of the Southeast Asia area. So sub-Saharan Africa. And let's go ahead and go this way, spin it around. Whoops. Actually, if I remember, if I double click on it, it will zoom me out. So the Sahara is up here in Africa, and so the sub-Saharan's down below. So there's a little area right there, but it's not what we saw over in Maritime Southeast Asia. And back over to Australia, which if I remember, Australia was pretty yellow. Let's see, oh, there we are. There's Australia. Let me write my globe again. Turn on 2090s. Make sure you have that one on, because if you turn on one of these other ones, it's going to look pretty different usually. So 2090s is what we're looking at. And it's yellow there, so it's not much of a change. Australia, and then back over to Central America. I'm actually going to go this way. Whoops. I'm going to go way too far. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. South America is over here. So there's a little area over here in South America. Not a lot. Let me unclick this again so I can see what I'm looking at a little better. Zoom back out. So South America generally is actually not having as great of a change. I think the area we saw the most was Maritime Southeast Asia. Back over here. So that is going to be your answer for part B, is Maritime Southeast Asia. Part C, we are going to be looking at a totally different folder. So we're going to unclick the average precipitation change, and I will go ahead and collapse the medium emission scenario folder since we do not need it anymore. We are looking at the suitability of rain-fed cereals. So we're looking at areas for growing cereal grains without irrigation. So over here for reference shows our historical conditions. So this is going to send us back to Africa as it does. and we have the projections or different scenarios for the 2020s, 2050s, and 2080s. And over here, we're generally going to be comparing our reference of 61 to 1990 to the 2080s. Over here at the suitability of rain-fed cereals, we're really comparing here to see which nations have the greatest threat to cereal grain food security by the 2080s due to decreasing areas rated as good, high, or very high. So we're looking for the biggest changes. And we're looking for some individual countries here. And first, let's go with Uruguay. It's showing up first on my list. And I can make this easier for myself by coming down here to the layers area, making sure layers is open, clicking on borders and lands, and I can also click on places, and it will give me more information about the places that I'm looking at. So Uruguay is over here in South America. I'm pretty sure it's this country right here. There it is, Uruguay. So we're looking for the biggest difference. So here the suitability is showing very high for the 2080s. Let's go ahead and look at the reference compared to then. So slightly more yellow area in the north after, less of the very high. Overall, still looking pretty good for Uruguay in the 2080s. Next, we're going to go over to Mozambique. Which I'm pretty sure it's this right here. Here's Mozambique. All right, so let's go back to our reference of 61 to 90. You've got a lot of the dark green, which it's showing here is very high, down to the 2090s. Less, not a great difference. I'm going to go to Congo next because I know it's close by. And that's one of the choices. So here is Democratic Republic of Congo. I can turn off the filter. We can see the outline a little better. Large country there in the middle of Africa. So we've got 61 and 90. Decent amount of green in there. In the 2080s, we actually have a lot of moderate and some marginal, whole bunch of medium, not very much green left. So that's looking like our best choice so far for those options. Then we've got Poland up here in Europe. Right, there's Poland, which just looking now, that's looking very green for the 2080s. And it's not changing a whole lot for Poland. And finally, the United States. Just like to look at the Earth on its side. Go write the map again. So here in the US, we've got, this is the reference, and the 2080s. Not a great deal of difference there. There is definitely some spots down in the Mississippi River Delta area that's changing, and a little bit of the East Coast, but it's not like Congo where it was quite a bit of green and then turned into quite a bit of brown. So we're going to go ahead and go with Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, for part C. Finally, on to part D. Hang in there, we are almost done. The suitability of rain-fed wheat. So we're going to do pretty much similar thing as we did last time. I need to make sure I unclick the rain-fed cereals so I'm not getting conflicting information when I have them both on, because the key is the same. So let's go ahead and open the rain-fed wheat folder. I'm going to close rain-fed cereals so I don't accidentally click on that. Suitability of rain-fed wheat. So here we're looking at the opposite. We're looking at which countries are projected to have increases in their wheat yield. So we're looking for the greatest percentages of lands by 2080. So the countries we have here, oh look, the United States, which I am already here on. So here's our reference point, 61 to 90, and 2080s. So not a great deal of difference. Looks like some of the stuff further north is looking a little better. I'm already right here, so I'm going to go ahead and check out Canada. So let's see, Canada currently, or I guess that's historical, in 61 to 90. So here is Canada then, and we have Canada in the future, and that definitely looks like an increase up there. A lot more places, even though it's not super suitable, it is definitely an increase in Canada. Reaching almost to the Arctic Circle up here. So next, let's try Brazil down south here. Well, I'm going to guess it's not Brazil for the increase. So here's Brazil currently. Looks mostly like the southern part of Brazil. I guess you can't grow wheat in the Amazon, so makes sense. And there's even less. So Brazil is most definitely not the answer. Now we've got Spain and India. So Spain should be right over here. Spain. And that zoomed in way too much. So Spain, we've got some kind of marginal areas. And it's not increasing. We're getting some land areas now and very marginal. Finally, we have India. Go ahead and zoom out a little more to flip over here to India. And I don't know, guys, I don't think India is going to be the answer for increases because it looks kind of barren. So this is it currently. This looks like the more northeast mountainous region, and then none. So our answer for part D is most definitely going to be Canada, which makes sense. They're saying that the ice caps are going to be melting and stuff. It's going to be getting warmer, and it's an area where it's cold now, so it should be increasing in warmth and suitability for growing rain-fed wheat. I hope that helps y'all out for this week's Google Earth part of the homework. Again, if anyone has any suggestions on how to make better videos or how to add text in the questions in, because on the recording software that's included with my PC, I can't flip back and forth between multiple screens. I have to do a whole new clip every time. So, and I need a separate clip each time to add in new text. So if anyone has any suggestions, I would love to hear it. Just go ahead and leave me a comment. It's probably the best way. And I will see y'all next week. I think we have another one.